mean, look at all our stuff. It's everything we own. Everything we own.
Americans are struggling to get by. Gas is at $4.55 nationally, $5.65 in Hawaii. Food prices are rising at the fastest rate in years. Electricity is through the roof. Millions of people are losing health care. Hospitals are closing. Housing is unaffordable for many people.
Something is breaking in America, folks, and it's not subtle anymore. Groceries are up 25% since 2020. Housing up 45%. Rent declared unaffordable in 98% of U.S. counties. People aren't downsizing, they're being priced out of existence. Right now, over 1.9 million Americans live in vehicles. That number has tripled since 2018, and it's climbing fast. Not because people want adventure, but because the system stopped working for them.
The system is rigged. And the way the system gets rigged is that rich people rig the system for themselves. And that is exactly what's happening today with this bill and the 3 sets of crypto bills that are before Congress. The rich get richer, the poor get poorer. And the way they do that is by lobbying members of Congress, giving them campaign donations, mobilizing people in their districts to vote for scams like this bill.
Because I've reached the part in this whole class consciousness part where I'm just filled with the most impotent rage. And I'm talking that white hot, I need to sink my teeth and into something and scream kind of rage. Because what do you mean that it never had to be this hard for us? What do you mean in other countries they don't have to spend 20% of their paycheck on groceries? What do you mean in other countries everyone can own homes because they're not paying $2,000 a month in rent, or that their mortgages aren't their entire paycheck? What do you mean that people in China work one job and they don't even work 40 hours and they can easily afford their life? And then I'm over here working 60 hours a week, just me as a single parent, to barely make ends meet. And I'm penny pinching every single second. And there's so much of life that my kid misses out on and that I miss out on because of money and work and no social support net. And you mean to tell me that it didn't have to be like this? They keep us in these chains on purpose, and it never had to be like this. I did everything right. I went to college. I had to drop out of college to take care of my mom when she was sick because, again, no social services, no safety nets. My dad worked his whole life and died and left everything to my mom. My mom was disabled, and she lived on credit, and she barely made ends meet, and she did everything she was supposed to. And I did everything I was supposed to, and it just keeps getting worse. It was never supposed to be like this. And I'm so angry that it is. Because what do you mean? I've spent so much of my life working so hard to scrape by. And it never had to be like that. My suffering was at the expense of someone else becoming wealthy because they could. And I am so angry about this. It can't stay like this. It doesn't have to stay like this.
We can't have nice things because of your racism. And they are sick. They are learning that Americans have been living in squalor. White people are sick. They are learning that for 400 years, black people lived in slavery. They are realizing that they are too slaves. They are sick. They are twisted. Listen, when Donald Trump came out and said, why do we keep getting people from these shithole countries? My response was, bitch, America is the shithole country. And white people are learning the truth.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are diving into a conversation that has taken over social media and many Americans are reacting to it. Everywhere you look, people are talking about rising prices, housing cost, job insecurity, and whether the American dream is slipping further out of reach. Some MAGA supporters insist the economy is doing well because certain statistics look strong. Others point to their own lives and ask, if things are so good, why does it feel harder than ever just to pay the bills? That's the disconnect we are going to explore today. This is not just about one political party or one community, but it's all about millions of Americans who feel like they are working harder while getting less in return. So let's examine what is driving this frustration and why the debate has become so polarized. And before that, please watch these clips. I will be back.
The American flag stands for compassion, kindness, liberty, and justice for all. We're all human, and today I'm asking for one human act of compassion to please let my dad come home.
Quick question. Did you think that the American flag stood for compassion and kindness when you voted for who you voted for?
I voted for Trump, and I'm sorry. I'm uneducated. I grew up in public school system. I believed anything a teacher and a principal told me, and I didn't question it, and I walked in a straight line, and I didn't use critical thinking skills, okay? I didn't read Project 2025. I have a disabled child.
I mean, look at all our stuff. It's everything we own. Everything we own. I feel miserable. I have pneumonia. I just got released from the hospital last night. I've been in there for 4 days. I was sicker than a dog before I went. I called the ambulance. They wouldn't take me in. I made my in-law take me 2 days later because I felt like I was dying, literally dying, and I had pneumonia caused from all of the freaking trying to clean this stuff up to get out of here fast enough. That made me sick. It made me sick fast. I just sent my girls to go stay somewhere else so I can freaking try to deal with this and not be upset in front of them. They said they're trying to work with me for housing. I haven't even seen anybody about nothing for housing today. Nobody showed up. Nobody. And now there's a trash service going behind all of this. They just took all the RVs from the cars. They took one of our cars. I couldn't find the key this morning when I went to move it. They took that too. It's like we don't have enough taken from us out here. If we had anything, we wouldn't be here. If we had options, we wouldn't be here. Nobody wants to be out here like this. Because of all the rats out here on the levee, my RV got infested with them. They chewed through all my water lines. They chewed through some of my electrical stuff. They chewed through my heater. So I had to move my kids into this little one temporarily so we could try to fix all the damages. And they didn't tag that one, but then they tagged my other one. I need to go lay down. I'm so sick. So sick. I've been out here all night trying to gather what I can so they won't take everything. Now to explain to my girls that everything's gone again.
So I live in Texas and I'm pregnant with my third baby. And I am pro-life. I always have been. There is no greater gift on this earth than a child. But I'm kind of freaking out right now. And I'm starting to regret the way I voted, the way I've been thinking. And honestly, I'm scared for my life. I'm older, so this is a high-risk pregnancy. I had my first two babies, I did home delivery. I delivered them at home. It was painful, but it was no problems at all. This one, I'm older, and it's high risk, so I had to go to a different doctor than I usually go. And she's, all the way in town.
I'm in my greenhouse planting some vegetables. And I'm thinking about all these farmers that's losing the farms. All them white farmers. Not the black farmers, because we donating to them. You don't hear the black farmers crying the blues, but them white farmers, oh shit, they talking about they losing their farms now because of Trump. But they voted for Trump. But they losing their farms. Right. The black farmers, you don't hear them crying the blues, right? Here's the difference. See, they wasn't dependent on the government. When you depend on the government to take care of you, my daddy told me never depend on the government. Now see, if they cut my little Social Security check, I ain't gonna say little, but because I can use that piece of coin that I worked for. You understand? I worked 32 years for my monies, for my coins. So it's mine. But I didn't depend on the government in my retired life. You don't depend on the government. No. Anyway, back to the farmers that's losing their farms. I can't even say I feel sorry for you. But this is what I'm going to do. Look here, people. Let me tell you something. Oh, look at here. This is going to be some good eating right here. You understand what I'm saying? Look here. I just grow my own stuff. Look here. That's what I'm doing right there. Yeah. So, I ain't worried about the white farmers losing their farms. I ain't even feeling sorry because they voted for Trump. You get what you asked for. You asked for the tariffs, you got them.
Americans are struggling to get by. Gas is at $4.55 nationally, $5.65 in Hawaii. Food prices are rising at the fastest rate in years. Electricity is through the roof. Millions of people are losing health care. Hospitals are closing. Housing is unaffordable for many people. And everything from clothing to electronics costs more because of the tariffs. And what the Republicans are telling the American people now is not that there's not enough money. There is enough money, apparently, for a ballroom. Apparently, there is enough money to quadruple the size of ICE. Apparently, there is enough money to spend $1 billion a day on a regime change war of choice. There is enough money. What they are telling you is that there's no money for you as an American. And that's what we're fighting against. What they are telling you is that they want to enrich their friends and do escapades in Cuba and Venezuela and Iran and everywhere except your community, your kitchen table, your family. And that's why we're all so united in fighting this ridiculous proposition.
So I go through months or years trying to get help. My insurance company is willing to pay for me to go get treatment out of state. And every time I get a call, they tell me, sorry, we're no longer taking out-of-state Medicaid. And I'm like, okay, so what am I supposed to do? Because I literally can't, I have nowhere to go. There are no places for me to go. And then I asked her, okay, so what is it out of pocket? And she said, oh, we're not allowed to do out of pocket if you have an insurance. So you won't take my insurance. And then you won't take my fucking money if I'm gonna pay out of pocket. How does that make sense? I am so tired. I'm so tired. I'm so tired of this. I don't understand how the system could be like this. I don't understand. Like, I'm literally crying on the phone and the lady's like, well, I don't know what to tell you. You could call this person. And I was like, she was my doctor previously. And she couldn't help me. That was one of the reasons why I was referred to go to Jefferson in the first place. So now I don't know what I'm going to do.
What's up, America? I want to talk about the cost of living and how everybody is struggling in America. Now, I know we all keep waking up every day and we all try to make ends meet and we try as hard as we can. Because if we don't, we're going to fail. We have a family. We have to survive, right? If you haven't noticed, it's getting harder and harder to live every single day. Month over month, the costs are going up. It doesn't matter if it's utilities or water or food or gas. Somehow, some way, no matter the season, they find a way to fuck you. Corporations raise prices, they price gouge you on purpose seasonally, and we're falling for this shit because we don't have any choice. Well, I want to have a choice. I want it to go back the way it was before they were fucking us worse than ever in history financially. I don't mind making money, I don't mind making profit, but you're making obscene amounts of profit simply because you hate your customers. You even mock them the fact fact that you're taking advantage of them. And in many cases, you're getting the money, but you simply don't deserve it. You're not providing a service where it's worth it. Even shit like arcades and mini golf and fucking mountain coasters have doubled or tripled in prices. And it's the same shit. It's not like it's any extra cost. You're just fucking people for fun. Like I said, I don't mind making money and I don't even mind making a good amount of profit, but you can't fuck everybody.
Something very clear. The reason a lot of people don't have empathy for the I Left MAGA crowd is because y'all are still trying to rewrite the story. And guess what? We're not buying it. You want people to believe you voted for cheaper groceries, better jobs, tax breaks. No, you didn't vote for policies. You voted for a feeling. And let me say the part people dance around. You weren't tricked. You agreed. You agreed with the tone. You agreed with the direction. You agreed until it started affecting you. And that's the part people don't want to say out loud, because now it's, he lied. We didn't know. We were misled. No, people told you over and over again what this was. Not quietly, not subtly, but out loud and in your face. And every time you dismissed it. Things like, he's not serious. He's just talking, or it won't actually happen. So let me give you another line you might not like. You didn't leave MAGA. MAGA stopped working for you. That's why this feels different now. Not because something new was revealed, but because now it's uncomfortable. Now it's hitting closer to home, and now you're feeling it. And suddenly you want grace. You want understanding. You want people to separate you from it. But that's not how this works. You don't get to help build something, defend it, excuse it, normalize it, and then step away from it like it had nothing to do with you the second it stops benefiting you. That's not growth. That's convenience. Real growth sounds like, I saw it, I ignored it, but I chose it anyway. Until that level of honesty shows up, people are going to keep looking at you sideways.
The system is rigged. And the way the system gets rigged is that rich people rig the system for themselves. And that is exactly what's happening today with this bill and the 3 sets of crypto bills that are before Congress. The rich get richer, the poor get poorer. And the way they do that is by lobbying members of Congress, giving them campaign donations, mobilizing people in their districts to vote for scams like this bill. Just 2 weeks ago, this Republican majority passed the largest tax break in American history for the wealthy. That bill, the big ugly bill, will make the rich in this country 4% richer, while it makes the poor in this country 4% poorer. And it does that by stealing your health care, stealing food assistance, stealing housing, and stealing the fundamental support programs that make it possible for working families to survive in this country. But guess what? Donald Trump doesn't care, because he's a con man. He's happy to tell you that he's going to save you money on groceries while the cost of groceries is going up at historic rates. Just yesterday, the Consumer Finance Index showed that the cost of everything is up. The cost of housing, the cost of groceries, the cost of basic consumer goods. And why is it going up? Because of Donald Trump's tariffs and the policies that he's pushing through this Congress. And now, as part of his larger crypto crime scheme, he is pushing to pass these 3 bills that, guess what, are going to make him richer and make the American people poor. That's what this is all about. Now, how are they going to rig this system? They're trying to pretend like this is a regulation bill. This is absolutely about deregulating the crypto market, dismantling protections for consumers, weakening oversight, massive loopholes for the worst possible actors, like Donald Trump himself. And it would leave consumers unprotected, fraud unchecked. It would hurt and destabilize the economy. And yes, at the end of the day, it will hurt working families. Because when the economy becomes unstable, guess who's okay? The rich. But who's not okay? People who are living on the edge. So it's important that we see this set of bills for what it is. It's a scam. It's an effort by those who want to take advantage of the financial system and hardworking Americans and your pensions and your paychecks and your investments and scam you. They want to scam you out of your money They want to take it for themselves, and they're going to use Congress to do it. And every single one of these Republicans is going to be complicit in it. That's what's going on here. So folks need to wake up. Groceries are going up. Housing is going up. Healthcare is going up. And they're rigging the system for themselves. And we're here not only to...
And while we're on task, go ahead and cancel Christmas. Go on and start that family chat and let them know that you're not exchanging gifts this year. Hopefully everybody in your family is on board. And I know you're thinking about the kids. Well, Facebook Marketplace. If you're going to buy something for somebody, buy something small and local. You know, support a small retailer. But it's going to be Red Friday for these folks this year. Someone called it that in my chat. It says it's not going to be Black Friday this year. It need to be Red Friday. And I agree 100%. Hashtag Red Friday. But it's a good opportunity to teach your kids that freedom ain't free. And it's a conversation that need to be had because, you know, somebody going to have to sacrifice and we're going to have to fight for this shit.
Your dollar is the only thing that rich people know about you. They literally don't care about you. They just want you to spend your money. So if you haven't heard, we are blacking out the system November 25th to December 2nd. I love this idea and I wish and I hope that everybody gets on it. If you haven't heard about it, no restaurants, no events. We are not spending money at big box stores. We are not going to chain restaurants. We are not spending our money that entire week. That is Thanksgiving week, Black Friday, Cyber Monday.
Y'all, the guys at Blackout the System did the math on how much losses major companies had. And this is just the few companies they were tracking. From September 16th through the 20th, when they were blacking out the system, there was a $47.24 billion loss.
I'm going to say it, and I don't give a fuck who cries in the comments. White privilege is a lie. I didn't have parents who paid for college. I purchased my clothes from a place called Max 10. And I had a job at 12. I didn't take a vacation until I was an adult. I've been pulled over, and damn near every time I got the ticket. The legal system has screwed me so many times, I could start an OnlyFans. My dad still works a 9-to-5 job, so where was my head start in life? White privilege is the excuse black folks and white liberals made up so you can quit before you even start. It's your get out of hard things free card. It's absolute bullshit. You want facts, not feelings? Here you go. Blacks get into college with lower grades. Meanwhile, Asians get punished for being too good, and whites, we're somewhere in the middle. That's not privilege. That's a rigged scoreboard against hard work. I can't cry racism every time life punches me in the face. You fire somebody who's black for no showing a week straight, and suddenly it's racism. No, that's called consequences. How many times do you hear black people can't be racist? Yes, they can. Anyone can hate anyone. You can have black pride, you can have brown pride, but say white pride and you're labeled a racist. You want to talk slavery? Fine. Are we putting black slave owners on trial too? Or are we just making white people the villain because that's what fits the narrative? You scream about generational wealth while you're living in your grandma's paid off house that got handed down. Newsflash, 99% of America doesn't have generational wealth. White, black, brown, we got bills and we don't have no trust funds. White privilege is the ghost story you tell to avoid admitting your failures are your own. It's not privilege, it's envy. It's fucking victim mentality. It's delusion. You don't succeed because you're white, just like you don't fail because you're black. You win or lose by your own sword. Nobody's holding you back but yourself and your excuses. White pride doesn't exist. Period. End of story. Drop your comments below.
Life in America feels worse for millions of people in 2025 for several different reasons. First of all, daily life just feels exhausting. People are working endlessly to make ends meet, and they're not even making ends meet. Households have to have 2 incomes to be able to pay the bills. And it's not enough if you're just even making $20 an hour anymore. People that are making 6 figures are saying that they're having a hard time. Now, where you live does have a lot to do with that. If you are in the city, if you are more rural in the country, are you in a very expensive state? Are you in a cheaper state? We live in a cheaper state because of this reason. We decided to leave Texas in an area that did have a pretty affordable cost of living, but we decided to move to Oklahoma because it's even cheaper to live here because of this reason. And you have to make changes like that right now. People are needing to vote with their feet. Originally, I'm from California, and we left there years ago because of what is happening with the cost of living, amongst a lot of other things that's going on there.
Meanwhile, back at racism headquarters, check this out. I'm watching this video. I'm not sure how old it is, but it's about the white South Africans that are suffering in South Africa. They're, I guess they're at the bottom of the barrel right now, scrapping for food and clothing and stuff like that. Listen, I feel empathy for lots of things, but this one I don't feel empathy for. Because the lady that's running this, I don't know, she's running some kind of shelter or some kind of clothing, whatever. And she's like, you know, this is terrible. We're fighting for our language. What the language are you fighting for? No one took your language from anybody. You have taken languages from everybody. Who took Dutch from you or English? What Africans took language from you? Where's the history of white people having their language taken from them? Tell me, motherfucker, give me a source, all right? Who has ever taken white people's language or culture, if you have one? Who? Ask the Native Americans. Ask the Aborigines of Australia. Ask Africans. What? Anyway, she goes, you know, there's no balance. We need a balance. A balance? You mean you're not in charge as much as you were before? You're still running South Africa. There's not a balance because what? Black folks are getting out of their situation slowly but surely. There's not a balance. You don't even belong there. When did you get there? The Dutch got there in 1652, and it was founded by some dude named Riebeck or some Jan Riebeck motherfucker. He founded some that people were already there. Oh my God. And then the English took over around the 1700s or some. Basically, white folks have been there since the 1600s, man. And you're at the bottom of the barrel, man. And what you've done, apartheid, the treatment of Africans have been so atrocious. It's so twisted. You guys have a psychosis or a mental disease. Something is wrong, man. There's no balance. And they're crying racism, which they brought to Africa. Hey guys, let me know when I should feel sorry for these motherfuckers.
Landlords, next time you're eating a big juicy steak, think of your poor tenants eating carbohydrates so they can pay their rent. Yeah, that's what they're eating. I worked at a food bank for the last couple of months. It's really depressing down there. Just lower the rent if you can. Just a couple $100, $100, $200 will put a lot of food in American families' homes and keep them from getting diabetes, which raises the welfare system. So come on, use your heads.
Nick Shirley is in Richmond, Virginia. And
what's a good income here?
If you're making $16 an hour, you lucky.
Yeah, you're lucky to make $16 to $18 an hour.
Really? So if you're making $16 to $18 an hour, you can live pretty well here?
If you have a second job.
If you got a two income household, you know what I mean? One person can't do it on their own. Not at that type of money.
You gotta be on.
He's talking to the locals. You get what I mean? He's trying to figure out or get a sense of what's it like, what's the everyday life for the average Virginian, Richmond, Virginia, right? And the couple that he's talking to, they explain it perfectly, right? I want people to understand something, okay? When we talk about welfare in America, when you say welfare, when you say the word welfare, the image that comes in your head is poor niggas.
Some kind of welfare, food stamps, something to help out.
And what percentage of people here do you think are on food stamps or on some sort of government beneficiary plan?
Almost everybody. Can nobody make it out here alone?
If I had to put it in percentage, I guarantee at least 85% of the population in West Virginia, especially in this area.
Really?
And I want people to understand that there are more poor white people, or just as many poor white people as there are poor blacks in America. That's one of the hugest misconceptions of America in general. We think that only black people are poor and only black people are on welfare. It's not true. That is a misnomer.
Do you mind me asking, are you guys on government plans or anything like that?
We have food stamps.
Yep.
And so how much does the government give you guys a month?
Enough to barely survive, put it that way. So not very much.
And do you think the government is somewhat responsible for instance, the state of West Virginia, where they got rid of coal mining and they put higher restrictions on that, which was one of the main.
Absolutely.
Why do you think the government does things like that?
Because it's all greed. It's all about money. You know, all the politicians, all they care is about lining their pockets with money instead of helping the people in the community that need it. That's why just right down here, you can see a homeless person standing right there with a sign.
And it's always been like that. There are more white people in America in general. So of course, if you have more people here, there are more of them on government assistance than there are blacks. Don't shoot the messenger, okay?
What's a good income here?
If you're making $16 an hour, you lucky.
Yeah, you're lucky to make $16 to $18 an hour.
Really? So if you're making $16 to $18 an hour, you can live pretty well here?
If you have a second job.
If you got two income household, you know what I mean? One person can't do it on their own. Not that type of money.
You gotta be on some kind of welfare, food stamps, something to help out.
What percentage of people here do you think are on food stamps or on some sort of government beneficial?
Listen to this.
Almost everybody. Can't nobody make it out here alone.
If I had to put it in percentage, I guarantee you at least 85% of the population in West Virginia, especially in this area.
Do you mind me asking, are you guys on government plans or anything like that?
We have food stamps.
No. And so how much does the government give you guys a month?
Enough to barely survive, put it that way. So not very much.
And do you think the government is somewhat responsible for instance the state of West Virginia where they got rid of coal mining, they put higher restrictions on that, which was one of the main...
Absolutely.
Why do you think the government does things like that?
Because it's all greed. It's all about money. You know, all the politicians, all they care is about lining their pockets with money instead of helping the people in the community that need it. That's why I'm just right.
One of the biggest concern people raise is the rising cost of everyday life. For many households, grocery bills have climbed compared with just a few years ago before MAGA. Housing has become increasingly expensive in many parts of America. Renters face higher monthly payments. Prospective homebuyers struggle with high prices and mortgage rates. Insurance, childcare, transportation, and healthcare all add to the pressure. Even people with steady jobs say they are finding it harder to save money. That's why many families feel like they are constantly playing catch-up. One reason economic debates become so heated is that people experience the economic differently. Someone working in a growing industry may feel optimistic. Someone whose wages haven't kept pace with expenses may feel left behind. A retiree living on fixed income faces different challenges than a recent college graduate. Some small business owners deal with different pressure than salaried employees. These different experiences help explain why people can look at the same economy and reach very different conclusions. When times get tough, people naturally look for someone to blame. Some argue that government policies have contributed to inflation or increased cost. Others believe corporate pricing, supply chain disruption, or global events deserve more attention. The reality is that economic outcomes often reflect a combination of factors rather than a single cause. That complexity can get lost in online arguments, where simple narratives tend to spread faster than nuanced explanations. Social media rewards outrage. Videos and posts that pit one group against another often attract more clicks, comments, and shares than thoughtful discussions. As a result, economic frustration can quickly become a cultural or political conflict. While these debates can be entertaining to watch, they don't always help people understand what's actually happening. Despite political disagreements, many Americans share similar priorities. They want affordable housing, reasonably priced groceries, reliable jobs, accessible health care, opportunities to build savings, confidence that their children will have a better future. Those concerns cut across many communities and political viewpoints. Economic hardship is a serious issue, good people, and it's understandable that people feel frustrated when they struggle to make ends meet. At the same time, it's worth remembering that lasting solutions are more likely to come from understanding the underlying causes than from turning economic debates into battles between different groups of people. And thoughtful discussion doesn't always go viral, but it often gets us closer to real answers. Now it's your turn. What has been the biggest economic challenge you have noticed in your community or your life? Do you think today's policies are helping or hurting ordinary Americans? What changes would you like to see from elected leaders? Share your perspective in the comments. Keep the conversation respectful, and if you enjoyed this discussion, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notification bell.